Hey, lights on, cameras, lock, let's roll. Racetrack king, out of control. Speed so clean and the crowd go wild. John Candy live, we bring that style. We race, no break, that's right. John Candy live, keep the finish line bright. Racing on speed, John Candy live. Let's roll. JCL in control. Let's go. JCL Candy let's go. JCL in control.
That's the perfect introduction to our podcast, dude. We got Brian Baker in the building, brother. Welcome, and thanks for coming on the show, man. I know it's like I always try to get somebody that's relevant and like what's kind of going on next, dude. We had a lot that went on.
Yeah,
We had a lot that went on. So, but welcome, man. Thanks for coming on the show, man. It's awesome.
Yeah,
Great.
appreciate you for allowing me to be here. Yeah, just cool opportunity. I love being able to talk any racing. So I mean, I'm glad to be here, and yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, man. It's super casual. We just kick back, relax, drink a couple cold beers, and we can talk about anything.
Yeah.
Anything and everything. So kind of something I told Jerry, I told Sonny, when we come here, it's just Sonny was kind of like, so what do we talk about? We was like, we could talk about whatever we want. It's no big deal. When we first came in, we were talking about, diving and doing all that. I was like, you scared the crap out of me already. I'm like, man, what are we going to get into? So, I mean, that is so wild. So people that don't know, let's just go to the diving stuff real quick. That was crazy stories. Like you dove and like you were probably feet away from great white sharks.
Yeah, so I am a certified dive master, certified through Bakersfield Scuba here. We do a lot with them in town. It's opened up a lot of opportunity for me to, to explore a lot of things. So it's definitely pretty different. I'm less than 1% in the world that is, diving. So it's a very marginal number, right? So yeah, we get to do a lot of fun stuff with that. A lot of fun stuff around town. They call us and we do pulls. We go find phones. We go, fix equipment underwater for companies and other resources, stuff like that. So a lot of fun stuff. So it's scary. I can't say it's the same rush as racing, but it is a whole different rush. So when you're diving around in the dark, it's definitely eerie, So knowing you got sharks and all those other crazy underwater wild creatures down there with you, and you're just by yourself. You're in their home. They see you as food no matter what. So you're just kind of there to be there. So
that's wild. So how'd you get into that at all? Like, I mean, I know your car, I know your racing background, I know all that stuff, but we'll get into that, guys.
Yeah.
But how did you get into diving? What brought that on?
So my wife and I we had traveled to Hawaii. We went there for our wedding anniversary. While we were there, we kind of just did some snorkeling with our friends and stuff while we were all there. And so basically, when you snorkel, I mean, you've done it. So you're on top of the water. You're like, man, I want to get down there, So her and I were looking for something to do together, and that's kind of where we met with Bakersfield Scuba, and we went through the whole training process there. My wife and I got certified together, and we took our first trip was to Hawaii. And that's just kind of started our embarkment of diving. So she's now she's certified. My son, who as soon as he turned 10, got certified. So he can do everything that I can as well, aside from the teaching part. But yeah, he's equally allowed to be able to dive and do what I can do. So and now my brother and his kids and all that are all kind of getting into it. So people are always like, why are you a diver in Bakersfield? There's no water here, right? So we do a lot with it, and it's a good time. So
that's awesome. So were you there? So we did mention Mike Stewart, because you dove with Mike.
Yeah.
Did you ever dive with Steve O'Neill?
I knew Steve. I wasn't diving at the time, but I knew him from the racetrack.
Okay.
So I knew that he was out there, and he had a pretty big involvement with Steve and Peggy at Bakersfield Scuba. So he was one of their dive instructors for him. So his name is continually brought up there with him. They did a lot of trips together, like the Maldives and Bahamas and all those crazy places. So, yeah, definitely Scuba Steve.
Yeah,
Scuba
Steve.
So, yeah, it's like I said, obviously we all the unfortunate event that happened with him.
Yeah, that was something I was kind of just already going to segue into. The thing that Billy did and about the Bakersfield Speedway closing down and everything. And I put out a post and comment or kind of a breakdown thing of like, the highs of all the highs and, the the lowest of lows was when Steve passed away at the track, and I was
Right.
there, and it all happened right in front of me and everything. And it was just, you know, it was kind of weird how you were talking about scuba diving. I instantly go
Yeah.
to Steve. Steve and Pam, they were, great
Yeah.
friends. I mean, just couldn't find better people than Steve O'Neill and Pam O'Neill. Pam, I think she picked up and moved back to Canada
I
where
think so.
to
Yeah.
where Steve was from. So
Yeah.
she's still I still see her on social media stuff here and there and stuff.
Right.
So just wanted to shout out Pam O'Neill. Still love you, girl. And she's that's great family, great people, and scuba diving is like it's so like there's so many people involved with
Yeah.
it. Like you wouldn't even think about it.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's not it's not really common, right? I mean, it's a common thing, but just to be in a group of somebody who does is pretty uncommon, right? So, um, because I've been in it, like I see the people that come in and out of it, but yeah, it's like I said, I kind of felt like this kind of cool relationship, going down the back straightaway, and I would see the diving flag on the back straightaway, in an unfortunate way, right? But yeah, so kind of seeing that and me being able to relate to that is cool.
That's
So
awesome. Yeah, because I mean it like you said, that's such a niche community, and I guarantee we're the only dirt track, or Bakersfield was the only dirt track that had a diver down.
right,
Down the back
exactly.
straightaway.
Yeah,
So it's just like, yeah, that's gotta just
yeah,
hit a different kind of way for you,
yeah, and
especially.
and I hope that divers who saw that, I hope they kind of looked into that to see why that was there, and that was Steve did a lot with Bakersfield Speedway with Scott and all them, so he was there for pretty much everything with them, so he kind of went through it all with them as well, and I know it sounds as bad as it does, but could he have? I mean, two things he probably could have died at doing was scuba diving or racing, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, it's unfortunate, like I said. But yeah, like I said, I almost kind of feel proud in a way to see that flag there. I'm glad that the Schweitzers did that for him. So
absolutely. Yeah, Scott and Chrissy, like they're all always have been
yeah,
class acts. I mean, throughout all this, the stuff you see the stuff on, especially since the track has now been officially announced that it's going to be
correct.
gone and crushed and going away, and you see, and, people always saying, they could have done this, they should have done that, this, you know,
Yeah,
a fam a certain family did this to the track, a certain family did that to the track, this family didn't do enough, that family did. I mean, it's just it's circumstances, and it's
right.
just if people don't support it as far as racers, as far as fans, as far as everything, it's inevitable.
Yeah, and I had made a post about I mean, we all have our opinions of why we think that place is the way it is. And at the end of the day, none of us will never know. I
Right.
mean, and that's not for our business to know. I mean, we can only think about what we did or what we didn't do to support the place to keep it open, right? I mean, if you're a racer and you're staying at home because you don't want to go to your local track and then the track's gone, you really have a place to complain about it. So, and unfortunately, I have been there before. Like I got tired of going to Bakersfield, get my stuff tore up, so we started traveling. I was in Colorado and I'd go to Wyoming and all those places because I didn't want to race locally. I was tired of getting my stuff tore up, whether that was my fault or someone else's. I just needed a new environment. And but that night I was there, could that $50 made a difference in me in the pit gate? And it's a minimal number, right? But at the end of the day, if everybody had that same mindset,
Exactly.
and so I I kind of struggle seeing the way some people are with the way they talk about the track. Scott and Chrissy have always been good to me. Dakota's always been good to me. Um, I've made trophies for the track. I put on trophy dashes. We've done bike raffles. They've allowed me to do that without any hiccups. They just, here you go, have at it. We appreciate you. So, and then, like I said, that's for me. That's for just what I love doing. My wife loved doing. My friends, the Bannisters helping out, stuff like that. So, yeah, just like I said, we all have our opinions, and we we don't know.
Right.
I mean, we don't know the financial situations of it. We don't know the mental mindsets they had after the circumstances in their lives. Like nobody knows. So why a place leads to the way it does is honestly just none of our business. I mean, we just got to support what's there. Tracks like Santa Maria, Merced, Verona, all the local tracks, they need the help equally too. So as us for racers, that's where we got to stand up. And unfortunately, with that comes the conflict of KCRP. So because people are bitter about one, they take it to another, and that just,
Exactly.
and they're doing a lot over there. I mean, I've been around KCRP since it was stakes in the ground. Really good friends with Piker. Piker's driven for us. We've driven for him. We've done a lot together. And so, like I said, I've literally seen every stage of that track from opening to closing to opening to closing to, you
The
know what I
whole
mean?
thing,
So,
yeah, the full gambit.
and then, being pretty interactive with social media, you see everything, and and you know from direct sources, and you're like, man, you just don't even know. You're
Mhm.
bashing that, and 5 people tell 10, 10 tell 20. It just a never ending deals. So, I took a big break, just kind of mentally just needed that. Wasn't really feeling the racing. Just wasn't good in the car. Felt like I wasn't performing well. Um, and so that's why I came back. I really wanted to support Bakersfield Speedway. So when I saw that they had canceled those couple events, and I know some others had posted on Facebook about taking cars off of schedules, and then others, so I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. I'm going to show up when I can. I'm going to support it. They're going to allow us to be there, then I'm going to be there.
Yeah,
It's my home track. And I can't say it's fair for me to drive to, Eagle, Nebraska and go race there instead of racing, 15 minutes away from my shop.
yeah.
So I can't drive, 1,500 miles and call it fair, right? So as much as I would love to, my brother and I have definitely done some weekend trips to the Midwest. It's been rough, but yeah, no. If I could have any advice to the local racers, it's put all that shit aside and just be there. Support it. Because unfortunately, just like Bakersfield Speedway, you don't know what you have until it's gone.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
I mean, even if you're, more the sport mod division, the modified division, stock car divisions, those guys have a little bit more budget, for the programs. And
correct,
I mean, it's still low budget. We're still,
100%.
it's still what you can afford to do. But like for an American stock guy, like if you don't go to the track,
Yeah,
you're not going to be able to, like Santa Maria. I don't know. They might have American stocks 2 or 3 times on the schedule,
right.
and the car that you have built for this track, and if you're not going to support it, you may not even be able to run it at another
Yeah,
track. So it's like, but that may be the reason why American stocks have been so healthy for so long. It's
yeah,
like they
I
do
believe
come
so.
out and they do realize and understand. All right, if we don't do this, support
Yeah,
this,
it's gone.
it's gone.
Yeah, and there's the talks of merging classes to keep a car count higher, and I've been at tracks where they run 3 cars or 3 different types of cars as their max, and then I've been at places where they run 7. But a lot of those Midwest shows that run 7 different types of cars in a night, they're done in 2.5 hours. Like it's a whole different mindset back there.
Right.
Um, so for guys to have cars sitting at home and then you see them on Facebook, it's like you weren't even there. You didn't even support it to even.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I struggle with that as a racer too because it's like, man, you go to a track and then it's just a mess or it's dried out. You're like, I'm like not to sound here, but like, I'm the show. Like I'm the reason why your fans are coming here, not because your tractor did the track prep.
Right.
And that goes for all racers. Like we're the show, and sometimes we feel shorted on that for sure. You spend a lot of time and money and effort to go out there, and then you get a track condition. But at the end of the day, um, we all have the same track to race on. You can choose to race it, or you can choose to load up and go home. So um, I struggle with that because you definitely you start considering money into the situation. Like, okay, I mean, last time I went to the gas diesel pump was like 729 or 739 or whatever it was. So I got a 44-foot hauler and a toter home. That's all I have. I don't have like a small car trailer or a small box trailer. So for me to go to Bakersfield to start my hauler is like $60,
Yeah,
you
just
know,
fired up.
and
Yeah.
and people don't get that, right? So it's yeah, you just got to support it when you can, because like I said, Bakersfield's gone. I mean, I won't go into details of what I know about what's happening with it, but it's not my place. Again, we can just say that I feel fortunate I've been able to run there. I've been able to have victories there in a couple different divisions, and I've got to meet a lot of like iconic drivers. Bradshaw and all those guys
Yeah.
who did that video. Um, Billy Simpkins, their whole family, my family, the Wright family ran there, and it's like you know, I got to kind of live a little bit of that legacy of what Bakersfield was, and with that being gone, you know, nobody else is going to get to experience that.
Yeah.
So that's I feel fortunate. I feel bad about any night I've ever complained about it because I legit miss Bakersfield Speedway. So It was a fun place. I mean, it had a total different atmosphere. The Bud Nationals was always phenomenal. It was such a good time. Um, I remember going to that place, and I think one year they had like 249 cars or something
Oh
for the
yeah,
kids. We were pitted like on the asphalt,
yeah,
way in the back. So I know the place had the potential to get the cars, right? So I just feel like, and I don't even know how to say this without even like, because I try to be an advocate for it too, but I'm pretty spoken person. So like to post on Facebook and say something like it spreads like wildfire.
yes.
So, and I know I've been like incredibly like, I've been pretty mouthy on Facebook the last couple of weeks. I mean, I'm sure everybody knows why, but yeah, I just but in any situation like that, I can't trash the track. They had nothing to do with that, right? So like if there was an incident at Bakersfield Speedway, had nothing to do with what the track did. You can blame it on the track conditions or not. You still had the opportunity to not race that race. So
Right.
I just hope people will, put their feelings aside and just go race. Racers race. We're there to race. You spent the time, you spent the money, you're already there. Like, just make it happen. Be there, support it. That's why I take money out of my own pocket when I do those trophy dashes and stuff.
Yeah.
I take the time to fire up my own equipment and make those trophies. And I just want someone to, just to look at something like, hey, you remember we won that trophy dash that night?
Yeah,
It's
for
not even
sure.
about me. It's just like, or the kid riding off on their bike, the most amazing thing ever.
Well, that's something like I wanted to touch on at least now that you brought it up that you guys have done that so many times,
Yeah.
so many times at so many different tracks. Like you've done it. I couldn't count how many times at Speedway when I was there
Yeah.
for the 8 years I was there, and then in the last year at Santa Maria, you guys brought a bike over there. We had
Yeah.
like, at one night we had like 4 bikes we gave away.
Yeah.
It's like, but it's stuff like that that the kids love. I mean, there's just
Yeah.
no doubt about it.
I think it comes back to, I didn't really necessarily want to say grow up here. Like I said, I was born in Bakersfield. We moved to Oklahoma when I was, I think, 2. And we moved back in 2004. So when I came back, Mesa Marin was just, I don't even know if it was it 2004 or 2005. I think Mesa Marin was gone. 2000 might have been a little bit earlier than
Yeah,
that.
4 or 5 right in there. Yeah.
So, but I remember visiting out here, and I remember going to Mesa Marin, and the kids all got like a ticket when you walk through the gate. So you got a draw, and my brother won like a Diamondback 20-inch bike. And so I remember we used to go out there, watch the trucks, and watch the late models and stuff
Yep.
like that. So to me, that always kind of stuck with me. I loved it. I loved the tricycle races and the soapbox, cardboard box, you know, races,
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
like that. So
All the cool nichey stuff, like that nichey stuff,
yeah,
it's real.
yeah,
So we did Santa Maria. We did that 2 weeks ago. We had
yeah,
bicycle racing.
yeah,
It was a freaking hit. Like
yeah.
unreal.
And that draws your kids back because I mean, let's face it, kids these days, I mean, they're just yeah, no, yeah, I don't want to go do that.
Just burnt in the phone. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're buried into their technology and stuff. And even as outgoing as my kid is, I still like, dude, get off your phone. Like,
Yeah.
let's go do something. But I'm equally just as bad,
Yeah.
And I mean, we just live in a world of technology, unfortunately, and that's just kind of we're all kind of bots at the end of the day. So
Yeah. So my son. I mean, we were kind of talking about. He just turned 2 on Monday, and it's same thing. It's like I always said, when I do this again, my daughter's 14. So
yeah,
when we do this again, or when we have my wife and I have to have our baby, like no phones, no this, no TV at all, like none of that stuff. Next thing you know, we're like, all right, we're gonna put on, Danny Go, or we're gonna put,
yeah,
just I mean, it's supposed to be like educational and everything, but
right,
you're still like, all right, John, what happened, dude? You're like, why'd you
yeah,
get so soft on this? But it's just the world we live in. It's the world we live in. It's just figuring out how to moderate it
right,
and still have productive, good children. But
yeah.
because I feel like if you don't let them use the technology, they're gonna fall behind.
No, 100%. Yeah, and that's unfortunately, like I said, it's unfortunate it's that way because even me, I'm only 36 years old, so I mean, even for me, like I still grew up into phones and stuff. Like we
Yeah.
didn't have that. So like I didn't know what an iPad was like, and then when I was in high school, I didn't have my first phone till I was a freshman, and it was like an iPhone 1, like, and it was like a $5 prepaid card, from like
Yeah.
Boost Mobile or
Yeah.
something like that. So. But yeah, like I said, today even in my line of work, I do all my stuff with technology. you can't do it without it. And so even if you fault your kids, to or default them to allow them not using that stuff, and then when they finally get out there, it's going to be hell to pay.
Yep. They'll be
So
behind the times for sure. So if people are watching this stuff, they're not kind of local. They're kind of checking this stuff out from wherever they're watching it. I mean, we got people watching stuff from Virginia, from all over the place. So what do you guys do? So Baker Fabrication is your company, and so what do you
yep.
guys do? I know you guys. So may say a lot in the name, but you guys probably do so much more.
Yeah, so Baker Fabrication just started out. I came into when I moved out here. So kind of a backstory. My grandpa Joel Wright and Randy Wright, they owned a race shop. He drove the Domino's car over at Santa Maria for I don't even know how many years. So they ran over there with the Claibornes and all those
Mhm.
families and stuff. And so already kind of had that history of racing and stuff. So then when we moved to Oklahoma, my grandpa had Wright Racing, and he had a shop where he sold parts and stuff at the local tracks, kind of like Henry. I mean, just
Uh,
had a shop, would rebuild clip cars, bodies, stuff like that. And so my brother and I were always kind of just naturally around that. Saturday nights we were towing cars home with him to repair from a racer or something. So spent a lot of time in the shops. They had cattle, they had, all kinds of stuff. So I grew up on like kind of like a farm, a couple pastures, and we used to ride go-karts and lawnmowers around
Bakersfield
and
proper sounds like.
yeah, yeah. So always kind of was around it. I was never like the kid that had race cars. So we ran some go-kart stuff and then some micro sprint stuff, but never really when it was never really into it like we are now. So once I was able to, get a job when I turned 16, I worked through high school. I did 1 hour a day, one hour a day after at school, working for the school. So I'd get a paycheck once a month. And then after that, I would go work. I was at working at a pizza factory. I was Brian Baker, the pizza maker. So all my friends called me in high school, and so I was literally tossing pizzas, and I didn't have the money to go. Basically, my dad and my stepmom were like, if you want it, you get it. However, you got to get it. I mean, and they gave us a lot. I mean, I'm not taking that away from them, but yeah, they gave us a lot. But it wasn't things I wanted to do, right? So I wanted fast, loud. I wanted race cars. I wanted
Yeah.
off-road trucks and dirt bikes and whatever else. So we I ended up working and basically I couldn't afford it, so I just started learning how to build it myself. So I built a lot of stuff I wasn't proud of, but you know what, it worked for me, and it got me to where I'm able to be today. So
So what would you? So when you started the fab shop and you started that stuff, so what were you focused on? Like what type of car, what type of racing, what type of vehicle?
our primary focus was off-road trucks. We did a lot of desert car stuff. I mean, a lot of general fabrication. We've done stuff for oil field companies. We've done stuff for local businesses. We've done stuff for out-of-state businesses. We've shipped stuff to New Zealand, Australia, all over the United States, building random parts. People have contracted us to build stuff for them. But our primary focus was the off-road trucks. We live in SoCal or Central Cal,
Right.
close enough.
Yep.
But if I had lived in Orange County or San Diego, I probably wouldn't even have my normal job that I do. So I could run a shop full time. But um, yeah, just primarily off-road trucks. We do a lot of design, pre-made parts. We sell a lot of weld-it-yourself parts to send to customers for guys who couldn't afford it, but they can weld it up in their garage or
Yeah. Yeah.
in high school and weld up their parts in welding class or something. So that's what Baker Fabrication is, and Baker Fabrication is what allows us to be able to do what we do. That pretty much primarily funds what our hobbies. Like it's not a full-time job. I have a regular job, local 12.
Well, see, I was gonna ask
Yeah,
you that. So a lot of people kind of assume the same thing that my thing is you know this is
right.
all I do, and that's definitely not the case. It's like I work at a water district. I'm
Yeah,
a maintenance supervisor at a water district, and I've been there for over 10 years and doing that. And I was a salesman at Solian Sun Hydraulics for 10 years before that. And it's just always been, racing, and this has always been like. Now I'm not going to say like secondhand or
yeah.
because do I want this to become something and that could really
Oh, for
provide?
sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Like do something you love and you feel like you're never working a day in your life. But I
Exactly.
100% thought Baker Fabrication was your sole thing.
No, no, it's purely a side deal, and that I mean, it's got its pros and cons, right? So I mean, we have months where you're extremely busy, and you're like, man, I could almost quit my other job, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the next month where you're like, man, I'm glad I didn't do that.
Exactly.
So we do say extremely busy. I feel incredibly fortunate. There's a lot of stuff that we have made it to where we're almost kind of not even hands-on anymore. A lot of our stuff is cut from other manufacturers and they basically ship it to the customer directly. So it's really nice to just kind of be a phone call away and that's it.
Yeah.
So
So in that aspect, so you're like more doing the design and doing all that, the CAD drawing and everything, and then
yeah,
you ship it to
yep,
the
yep,
manufacturer.
correct. Yep. So we spend a lot of time on the computers drawing up parts and
Yeah,
you
me
know,
too.
so but yeah, like I said, my regular job, I was so I mean like any business, it's just got its highs and lows. I was kind of over the lows, right? So one month you could make 30 grand and the next month you're making $2 and selling everything you just bought.
Exactly.
And kind of was just kind of burned out on that, right? Like my wife was too. And you just kind of got to like do the adult thing. And so moved away from the fabrication stuff as much as it broke my heart to do it because I felt like that's where I was really dedicated to was building race cars and clipping cars and bodies and you know everything else I was doing. But you know, I have financial burdens that come with that. So I ended up getting a job in the local 12 union, and I've now since been there 8 years, I think. So I'm
Okay.
vested in there and stuff. But and you know, everybody's like, "Oh, union strong." You know, it's a job to me, and at the end of the day, that could be gone tomorrow. I mean, it's like anything. I mean,
Yeah.
it's here today, gone tomorrow. But it has definitely changed what I've been able to do. You know, I mean, it's definitely helped my race program and stuff, and my friends and my family and stuff, where I've been able to help them and give back. You know, because I always kind of feel like I owe somebody. I don't know why. I just you know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so to be able to do that, it's been great. But yeah, like I said, it's only a part-time job. We do a lot of jobs for local racers. We let people come over use you know brakes and tools and welders and tubing benders if they need it. I open my shop for all big events that come to Bakersfield. Bakersfield, not when the Bud Nationals were here, my shop was open to anybody if they
Yeah.
needed it. So as long as you need it, there's scales, welders, bender, brakes, you know, you name it. So try to open that up, give them a place because I've been where you race and then you're done because you don't have the resources to go fix something.
Yep.
So back then when you had those big events like that, you know, it's nice to have that security knowing you could go somewhere. I mean, I ran into that boom last year first night there, car come off the top and just smoked me in the right side of the chassis, and it destroyed everything. So my first day in Boone for the Sunday, the prelude, starting the Super National, I was on a frame rack for 12 hours.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
I was on a frame rack at Joel Bashore's shop just down the road there, and it was it was rough, man. It's a real mood killer, you know.
Oh yeah, on day one.
Um,
Yeah.
and it got rained out, you know, so that's like what's frustrating about it was the rain out because it's like, dude, I didn't even have to race. All this for nothing. All
Oh
this to
my
be
god.
rained out. You know, my brother had made
So
the
like heat one, day one, like
heat one, day one, lap
oh
one.
my god.
Car come off the top. I think I started seventh. I was in the bottom, and the dude just came down, never lifted, wheelie all the way down. Boom.
uh
Smoked me right in the right side frame rail. I think it pushed it in like, I don't know, 11 inches or something on the bar mounts and stuff. And
oh my gosh.
brand new body. I mean, it just took everything with it. So
But that is one like the Boone race, everyone comes fresh. Everyone comes
100%.
ready,
Yeah.
fresh, everything's
Well, so the out of towners do. You
yeah.
know, I feel like, you know, as we as we out of towners show up with like something to prove, you know,
Yeah.
I don't know. Because you don't want to show up some raggedy car and like, oh, look at that shit box from
Uh
California. So we and I mean, if you're at Boone, I mean, you're probably financially able to go
yeah.
anyways, right? I mean,
Yeah.
if I don't, and I know it sounds crazy as much as I'm involved with the racing. I don't watch racing unless I'm in a car. I just can't do it. It's just not. I'm the biggest critic. I'm sitting like, why are you driving like that? What are you doing? You know, like what'd you do that for? And I'm sure half the people watching me doing the same thing. But yeah, it was a tough year. You know, the hardest part that I found for Boone was I made it the very first year I went.
That's what that sets the bar like
Way too high.
way high.
You know, so that set the bar for me. And then man, you just chase it. I've chased it every year. 5 years now I've chased that. So 2020 I made it in there. I had a brand new car built. Travis Roth built me a brand new kart Razer. I think it was 11 nights old. and I raced at Bakersfield Speedway. And my brother's begging me not to race that car. Man, don't race that car. Like we're done. We're ready. Body's built, wrapped. And
Was that the same year as Bristol?
next year, I think
The
we ran
following year.
Bristol.
Okay.
Yeah. So went
We'll get there.
told my brother, I'm like, man, it's just one race. Let's just go. Went there, running second to Brylan Holder. I go to pass Brylan on the outside, and two cars are parked facing. I never even saw him. I'm focusing on
your task
focusing
at
on
hand.
Brylan.
Yeah.
I'd ran Brylan down, I think, from like sixth that race or something. I think he started front row, and yeah, just come up around, and there they were parked there, and I hit him head on, took the chassis, and completely same car. Well, no, different car. So the car I ended up Piker driving for us. I had took that car back to Iowa or to Nebraska and had a whole right front clip put in it. And
Oh my God.
I ended up, so the red car that Spainhauer drives for us
Yep.
now, that car was brand new sitting in the shop. We had just picked it up from Iowa like the weekend before, or Nebraska the weekend before. And so I was crushed, I mean, I had McKellar, I had Pounds, everybody was there like, man, what can we do, But the car was in bad shape.
Yeah.
So my brother comes over. I'm literally like in tears. I'm like sick to my stomach. Yeah, it's an 11 race old car, and
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that might be good. And so my brother comes over and he just hugs me, and he says, "Hey, we'll get the red car together. We'll put it together." So it was already partially almost together. There wasn't a whole lot to do. Now the kicker to that car was we get it all together, scale it, get it all put together. Santa Maria allows us to come over and do a shakedown run in it. So they kind of give us a mild little prep on it.
Yeah.
Didn't charge us nothing, just, and the track was extremely heavy. We're the only car there. And my brother, it being his car, I didn't want to be the first person to drive it. It's his money, his time, his effort. He's allowing me to take this car to Iowa. And he goes out there, wheel packs with the water truck for like, I don't know, seemed like eternity. They finally give him the green to go. And I don't think I heard him lift off the throttle into turn one, and he just smokes the fence.
Oh my God.
He smokes the fence, and I remember just standing there like, man, why? I mean, unintentional, but know your track surface, right? So smokes the fence, wipes the whole right front off the car. Larry Wise was over there at the time with Dylan Thornton's grandpa, I think, over there, and they went to the shop and grabbed a bunch of parts, and we kind of scabbed it together at least to kind of make sure the motor wasn't going to boil over and stuff. And yeah, I ended up making it out to Iowa in that car. Made the feature at Marshalltown that Friday night. Saturday, I think we ran that Saturday or Sunday because they alternate the years for the modifieds and sport mods, Saturday and Sunday each year.
Okay.
So like last year we ran Sunday night. This coming year we run Saturday night. So
Okay.
and then mods will run, whatever. So ran the car, got a good shakedown on it. I ended up ripping the whole right side off of it. They had a pile up on the front stretch in Marshalltown. And I was just barely through it too. That's what sucks. Like just the bumper just barely skimmed it. So I said, well, it's tore up now. Actually, I got a flat in the heat race, and it shredded the left rear tire, and it just ate everything under that car.
Smoked it.
Yeah. So
So you're like,
and my brother's just like, what are you doing? So yeah, but yeah, I ended up making it rained. So that year in Iowa, it rained and it rained and
everything
it rained.
heavy.
I think we had 7 days of rain. We were there. Rained every single day. I think I ran Monday night. Our heat race got canceled midway through. They stopped it. And then I don't think I was in the car back again till Wednesday. Ran my heat race. I went 6th to 2nd, which put me in the automatic redraw for the feature, for the A feature 2. Or no, I ran A feature 1, and they take top 14 cars out of each of those features.
Okay.
I started 14th.
Like,
So,
don't go backwards.
I started 14th. Actually, no. Yeah, I started 14th. They take top 8. So they make 16.
Okay,
Yeah. So I started 14th in that feature. They luckily, unfortunately for those guys, but they had a little pile up, put me I think in like 9th or something. So I ran around there because it was hammered down. This was 2:30 in the morning.
Wow.
They called us. We're all in the trailer. I think I was sleeping. My wife actually woke me up. I was like sleeping in front of like a little like one of those little heaters, and it was cold. And so my wife like wakes me up. She's like, "Hey, they're calling you guys up." And my brother comes in. We start thrashing on the car, get it all, make sure everything's good. Tire pressures. Trying to get the cars warmed up was rough. And so ended up rolling out there. I have a sweatshirt on. I got like leggings on, and everybody had bought out every Tractor Supply. Baumgartner's is a store back
Every
there. They
heater,
bought
everything.
everything. There's a super Walmart across the street. They were empty of everything. Wood chips, sandbags. I mean, you name it. It was pretty rough. Rolled out there for the feature. Started 14th. Big crash happened. I think a car flipped pretty good in front of us, and that I think that put me back in ninth when I restarted. Um, and then I got to seventh. I passed Cam Reimers. Cam Reimers was running, I think, ninth. I rolled eighth. Come back with 2 to go, and I look up behind me, and Brent Curran, who lives up north,
Yep.
we actually trailered his car out there. He was running eighth behind me right there. So both of us out of the same trailer that night made it into the A feature.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so super cool. It was fun. But like I said, super humbling because I've been chasing getting back into that show.
Chasing the
And
dragon, baby.
she's breathing too. So, and the thing about it too is, I was standing there, and if you're in that tent, it is the most, you don't know what's going to happen. You can say your car is as legal as it is. They don't do tech. Know what you brung. That's literally they're saying when you go to Boone, know what you brung. If it's illegal, then you should have known better. And so, brand new car, brand new manufacturer with the cars. We don't know.
Yeah.
I got a motor in the car that's been torn down like 3 times. I don't know. I mean, crate racing in the early stages of the crates, like a lot of people were doing stuff to them. You just didn't know. So,
Right.
um, they tear everything down in the tent. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but they rip your shit apart.
Yes. Yeah.
Case cover off the side of the transmission, third member out, axles out, magnets on calipers and spindles and, all kinds of stuff. Your rev limiter box is absolutely molested in every way you can. Or I don't think they pulled the intake, but distributors out, carburetors off, exhaust is off, valve covers is off, inspection hole in the oil pan's opened. I'm in the car. They're checking all the gears, making sure everything works because you got to have all working third or all 3 gears in a sag and all. And then once they showed that was working, then they pulled the side cover off, make sure nothing's lightened. So we're all good there. I've never been a cheater, so we go through that, and then they start sticking scopes through the spark plug ports. And they're just they're kind of like doing this, like looking at like notepads and laptops, because all those seals, they know Olson built the motor, he
Right.
worked on it, well, Olson did this, but man, why did he put, there's 3 different generations of pistons in this motor, you got, and it all shows and it's all logged, and that's, the fortunate part for Glenn Olson was he was a pretty honest guy, at least for us. I mean, he helped us out a bunch on our motors and stuff, so um so yeah, like I said, you're just sitting there shaking, because you got 6 other cars sitting outside the tent waiting for you to just fault, and so once they came over, Dave Brin comes over. He said, "Hey, and he's just standing there with a laptop, and he turns it around. He said, "All this checks out, He's like, "Didn't mean to make you wait, So,
You're like, oh my
and I'm sweating bullets, Well, before Dave does that, this old man comes walking up, and the tent at Boone that year, it's got like a side curtain that's open, so the fans, everybody can see it. Everybody goes to watch, and then it's got like this little booth
It's like
all
the
curtain.
top fuel rebuild.
Yeah, like a AMA style setup,
Yeah.
and this old man comes walking. He says, "Is that your car?" I said, "Yeah, it's my brother's car," and he said, you making the show?" I said, "Yeah, I just ran 7th, And I said, "We're just, you got to get through the tent." He's
Yeah.
like, I wouldn't know what that's like. You know, he's like, "I think I've raced Boone." I think he told me like 27 years. He's like, "I've never even made an A feature here."
Wow.
So that was like super humbling because, there's guys out there who will never know. They'll go run that race and they will never make it in that event. And to have that plaque in my shop, for the 2020 Super National qualifier is super super
So
cool.
that
So
is that your crown jewel trophy that you might have in your trophy collection?
oh, man, I would probably say so. I mean, that year was actually pretty good for us. I made Vegas. Everybody said Vegas was like, in the time of IMCA, before, previous promoters and stuff. It was, it was hard to get into Vegas. You had 50, 60 cars that were fast because again, if you're traveling to an event like that, you more than likely financially can be there. So
Yes.
it's the fast guys, it's the big guys, right? So to be there, so we made Vegas that year. Um, we made the Super Nationals, and then for 2020, and then following that right into February 2021, or maybe I think it was February, we went to Bristol, and I made the show at Bristol. I started 12th in my B main, and I won the B main to win
That's wild.
into the after I got wrecked. I got wrecked down the back straightaway. Um, yeah, I came up into the guy, but they told us. I mean, they had really torn up some cars at Bristol. I mean,
Uh-huh.
it was
Oh, yeah.
scary. It was
That's scary fast.
it was scary fast. I
Yeah.
mean, you'd literally be racing and watch your tear offs just spinning in front of your face. Like you're not going fast enough at home to see that, you know.
Right.
And then when your head's kind of bobbing because the wind's moving so much in the car, I ran a heat race and my front nose like folded up. The nose panel did, and I felt like 10 cars back like right away. It just the aero, you'd never know it at home, but on a place like that where you're moving, it is fast.
So what gear? So here, so to make it kind of comparable, what kind of gear do you run here on the third miles?
I was running a crate motor at the time. I ran a 583 or 60 on most tracks in California. Merced, Bakersfield, Santa Maria.
And then you get to Bristol. What is that?
We went to Bristol. I ran a 461.
Wow.
Yeah, way
That's
down. I
huge.
felt like a truck in the pits, like, just kind of lugging, but
Yeah.
it was big, and even then we probably could have went down to like a 456 or a 433 or something. Yeah, it was
Wow.
it's pretty wild, but we were fortunate. One of my sponsors at the time, he had a guy in Lancaster built us all gear sets, two above, two below. So we knew when we got there we had options
You had the gear.
we had the gear, and they completely sponsored all that to us, and it was awesome. It was because that was the downfall. Nobody ran this like competitively. You can make laps on it, but unless you're racing with other cars and the track surface is indifferent, you don't know what gear it was. And I know Mike and all those guys who prepped all the track and stuff for the XR, they didn't know. It was still in question about what was going to be ran for gearing. So we kind of went there. Luckily, we were pretty good right out of the box. And
Still the same. You've been with. So have you been with Razer ever since the beginning? Like basically
um,
2020.
I started sport mod racing 2012. I had traded a micro sprint to a gentleman up north from Merced or something, Stockton, I think is what it was, for a 2008 lime green Dirtworks chassis car.
Yep.
Had a big old hog in it. It was just probably the most illegal thing I've ever owned. And I ran that car. I ran that car for maybe 2 years or so. Just I was traveling to Watsonville. I'd hit Merced, and then I'd go run at Chowchilla because Chowchilla was running Sundays. So
Yep.
me, Nick Spainhoward, we'd shoot up north. We'd go run up there, and then because you could hit them coming home, and so we ran there a lot. And then I kind of got out of it for a little while. Just was kind of just it didn't really have that. I had no idea what I was doing. I wasn't the person to go asking, begging people for help because
Right.
And so just kind of dealt with it. It was what it was. And yeah, I ended up buying a car. Were you around when the Griffiths were running?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh yeah.
ended up buying a Harris car from Cruz Griffith. I think I bought that car for like $4,500 or something. And I had a brand new crate that I actually bought the day we left the hospital with my son. 2014, went to Motor City, and I bought a crate motor on the way home because they had one show up, and the guy called me. He's like, "Hey, we got a motor." I'm like, "I'm out in the hallway." My wife's in there. Had just had our son Gavin, and I was like, "Hey, I hate to do this. Can we stop?
We gotta make a little
Can we
pit stop
stop
on
on the way home?" So
That's-
incredibly selfish. But
That is a racer of all racer moves right there.
so we stop and get a motor, and I was in no position to be racing. So I ended up loaning the motor to Levi Kiefer. I think he bought me that motor like 3 times.
Yeah.
He blew up a lot of motors that year. It was really hard on the crates, and so he had bought me that motor I think 2 or 3 times. But like I said, I wasn't there. They were good for it,
Yeah.
and it was super nice. It was cool and Levi helped me out a ton too. When I first came into Sport Mods, when they were with the Dixon chassis, they were super helpful. So I ended up wrecking that Harris at Bakersfield Speedway on the back straightaway. That wall hung out I clipped that wall.
Get that right rear on that track entrance.
So you would have thought I'd have learned my lesson. I bought a 2010 Shaw from Brett Bennett, and put that car together, got it all together, and first night I ever raced it, clipped the back wall, Bakersfield Speedway.
Ouch.
Killed that car. I mean, completely, it was junk. I mean, I think we cut that thing. Oh, no, I actually sold that car to Maria McGriff. Her dad bought the car out of Arizona.
Okay.
She's a big pavement racer and stuff, the McGriff family. They actually, I think they put a front clip and stuff in that car, and I think they still have it to this day.
Oh, wow.
I sold them, they bought the car from me, I think like $2,500, $2,000, because it really wasn't worth much, after that.
It's scrap metal and a couple good bolts.
Yeah.
Here, give me $1,000 for it.
And I think they came out a couple weeks later and ended up buying everything else I had.
Yeah.
All the motors, all the spare wheels, tires, parts, carburetors, you name it. So, and then kind of got back into the desert truck stuff for a while. And then I was working in Texas for a couple months, and just thinking, I think I was on the phone with Michael Black one day or something, and man, I want another car, it'd just be fun. Just something every here and there, I had driven Michael Black's car a couple times. He was still racing. And ended up, I got with Chris McKellar when I got home. I bought his Sidebiter car that he won with Vegas. Bought that car. Mike Weagle over in Lompoc or Santa Maria, whichever one he lives at. He loaned me a motor, and I raced that car for about 6 months, a year maybe, in 2019. And then I got sent back to Texas to work. And then I'm thinking, you know what? Like, if I'm going to do this, like, I want to start with good equipment. I want to have nice stuff. I want to know what the changes are, the feelings are. And Chris's car was fast.
Right.
It was a good car. Ended up selling that to a couple guys in Arizona. And then it ended up going, I think, to like Elko, Nevada. They run like a junior modified class up there.
Okay. Yeah,
I think they're like V6s or something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, super down. They're like 13-year-old, 12, 13-year-olds run old modifieds.
Yeah.
And called Travis when I was in Texas, and he sent me a quote sheet, and then called my wife. She was like, I don't know. Ended up putting a deposit on a car, and that's how I ended up getting my first Razer chassis. And we've been with Razer for the last 6 years now.
Awesome.
Yep.
So basically 2020 is when you dipped into the Razer.
Yeah.
The Razer thing. So were you just kind of in Texas and that's where they're made? Is that how you made that choice, or were you, because he was kind of running? Oh, you got all kinds of cool stuff. Amber Alert, Highway Patrol. Welcome to California, guys. Is it just my phone? I don't know what we got going on.
Yeah, so I mean, at the time, Cody Thompson was winning a lot, and I'm thinking, man, if he's doing it with, I'd never heard of the cars. I wasn't really into I knew Shaw, I knew, GRT and all those cars and Jet and stuff like that, but a lot of cars here at the time were Jet and GRT cars. But I'm like, why don't I want to run the same stuff they're doing? There was only a handful of sport mod victory circles here.
Right.
The smarter thing, crash-wise, would have been to buy the Victory Circle, right? Repairs, stuff like that, immediate tech. But at the same time, I'm glad I didn't, because Travis has been so good to us. He opens up his shop, his house, everything to us. We go out there a week before Boone, and we run their local tracks and stuff with him, and he's there teching with us on the cars. He's scaling the cars. We unload the cars, and he's all over it with the tape measure and, doing whatever. So
Awesome.
kind of preps us there, and like I said, I think we have 4 or 5 of them now, but Spain Howard's in the other car. Our other car Piker had just got sold to Kobe Ward.
Okay. Yeah.
So he's running that car. And then the car that my brother's in, which is the oldest car, was Brad Pounds' car.
Okay.
And we converted that car to a sport mod. And that's the car I raced to Larry Friday night. I blew up a motor in heat race.
Ouch.
Yeah.
So still, are you all on crate motors right now, or do you have?
No. So Colby, in his Razer car is running as far as I know, all the Razers on the West Coast are running open motors.
Okay.
So, except Nick Spain Howard. Nick Spain Howard's on a crate.
Okay.
So, because that's his motor. Everything else on the car is ours, but it's his motor and seat and stuff like that. So, the motor that's in my car now was originally built for Nick's red car that he's in.
Okay.
Vegas 24, I blew up there and then put my crate back in. We were just new to the open motors. Kind of had, still with COVID problems. You still had lifter problems, cam problems, getting the heads were a big issue for the IMCA heads. And so we just kind of, some new blues there and kind of got that worked out. I loved the crates. I think that year though I lost like 3 of them and I was like, that's it, I'm
Ouch.
done.
Yeah.
And I lost one leading Tulare and then went to Merced, was leading Merced, lost one 2 nights in a row for the California Clash. So that was the end of that.
Yeah.
So enough of that. But yeah, just still running the open motors. I got into like I said, I ran my brother's car. I started 22nd. My brother was supposed to be in the car. He was driving from Bakersfield to Tulare, and literally he's running through the gate as we're pulling onto the track. So
they didn't allow?
if he got there in time, I would have got out of the car to get him in it.
Oh,
The
okay.
problem
Okay.
is he had to sign the child waivers for the pits.
Yes.
It took all the time. He'd have made it, So I got to run his car, started 22nd. They made me tag back the field. I'm in a different car. Tagged back in the field, and I think I was running seventh or eighth or something like that.
So it was one of those deals, all cars transferred.
Yeah,
Oh, no
yeah.
biggie. Okay.
Well, they weren't going to send one car home,
Right.
And I had blew up, so that already had 22 cars, which is perfect. They
Yeah.
run 22 car field there, so I said, "Now one more car, what's a big deal?" But like I said, with me blowing up, they ended up running all of them anyway. So, jumped in my brother's car, and it's like you drive someone else's car and you hear them whine and complain about the car. You're like, "What are you complaining about? That damn thing was freaking amazing," So I'm like, "Man, my car's a piece of shit," But yeah, super super good car. And then so we're gonna roll into Santa Maria's the next day, last weekend, and the 40 car sitting in my shop. Nick Spain Howard's on a cruise down in Ensenada.
Yep.
So he's down there with Justin Crockett and all those guys from the coast and his wife and stuff. So I text Nick, he puts the time and stuff into that car. We consider his car.
Right.
No matter who owns it, he does the work. It's his stuff. And I hated when I didn't get a reply, because I'm like, fuck. I love Santa Maria. I love racing there. It's my favorite place to race. And got a lot of good wins there, a lot of fun wins, like last lap, last corner passes, deep field finish wins,
Yeah.
And so when he didn't text me back, I text my brother, and he's like, better to ask for forgiveness than permission, So you just take a chance sport mod racing, right? I mean,
Yeah,
any
it's
racing at all.
it's
You
the
go
crowd.
tear a car up,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, we got the car together. I got up Saturday morning and put it all together, loaded it up, and headed to Santa Maria. So had my brother there. He ran his 17 car, the 17A, and I ran the 40 at Santa Maria. So, and that was eventful.
Yeah, as I was saying, well, since we're there, I mean, we can kind of get into it, man. So that is kind of how you got into the 40 car, and
Yeah.
that's why you were driving Nick's car at your car, Nick's car. We'll call it
Yeah,
Nick's car.
Nick's car.
So driving Nick's hot rod there. So in the main event, you were running what, 8th or so, or 6th or so, somewhere in there. Sixth?
So we got rained out first night at Santa Maria.
Yes.
So a couple of weeks ago, we got rained out. Everybody drove over there, and
You guys came in full force. You had all 3 cars. You guys.
all 3 cars on hand. I did an interview with you there.
Yep.
So
Cool stuff.
showed up all 3 cars. I mean, we always roll pretty deep with our cars. We try to. All of our cars, I think, are all pretty flashy. We all try to be bright. Try to, it's fun for the fans. It's fun, easy to see on tracks. You go to dark tracks and stuff. It's hard to see. So, that's why we run bright colors and stuff. I mean,
Absolutely.
it's just we kind of let David Mayhew and Chris Burke at Capital Signco and stuff in Iowa, just like kind of, hey, do whatever. Here's the colors I want, but do whatever.
Yeah. Make it pop.
Yeah. So yeah, show up, get rained out, come home. I think we were supposed to set to run Bakersfield that next weekend. They canceled that event. So we had an off weekend. And then, like I said, rolled to Santa Maria after the Tulare show Friday night. I roll out in the 40 car. We got Ryan Olds in the 1R car, which was Piker's old Onnit car that we completely, everything but the center cockpit, we rebuilt on the car.
You guys rebuilt that last 2 years ago.
2
right?
years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I cut everything firewall forward from the rear of the seat back off, and completely restructured that car. Everything was tubing wise as new, except the cockpit. So Ryan rolls over there. He's home from Alaska. He works up there. He works on drilling company up there. So he's home, and I call him Friday night on my way home from Tulare. I said, hey, the 1R is like pretty much ready. I already pulled the gear out of it. I've got the gear sitting in my shop. Just throw it in there. He's like, I don't know, man. It's kind of late. Like I hadn't even touched the car in probably over almost a year, I would
Oh,
say.
wow.
Just been sitting in my shop. And so he gets his car ready Sunday at the shop or Saturday at the shop, get it all put together. We roll over there and with all good intentions. I mean, to have a good time. I love Santa Maria. It's a good place to race. I love what they're doing with that place. It's phenomenal. I think fan experience wise, Santa Maria Speedway has the greatest atmosphere, hands down. I think every track should have to go to Santa Maria, sit in the stands one night to watch what they're doing.
It's unreal.
The food,
Yeah.
the music, the interactions, bringing the pits down into, or the grandstands down into the pits is awesome, because I love seeing those kids standing there like oohs and ahs.
Yeah.
That to me is just amazing. So show up Santa Maria. I'm kind of screwed up now because I've now driven 3 cars in 2 days. So I jump into Nick's car, roll out there for hot laps. The thing wouldn't turn in a 10-acre field if it wanted to, pushing like a dump truck. And I don't want to change anything on the car because Nick has been building this setup on his car. He knows what it's doing.
Right.
I just kind of wanted to be like the arrive and drive, not touch nothing. It was what it was. But I did. I left it. I never touched the car. I took my wheels and tires off my car from Friday night, put them on there because they were fairly new. Didn't have no issues with them, so I ran my stuff, and then go out for, I think I was second fastest in hot laps, anyways.
Mhm.
So okay, go to the heat race. Sunny just absolutely smoked us.
She was, I mean,
She killed it.
she was amazing.
Yeah.
And talking about older cars, I mean, we're gonna get through this whole story.
Yeah.
But I mean, I want to stop on Sunny because that was her first heat race win.
Yeah.
This is her first official rookie season
Yeah.
in that old, I think, is it
On
on a
it.
chassis? An
Yep.
old 12 on a
Yep.
chassis or something like that. That, the high school was working on and
Yep.
doing all that stuff. I mean, they've had to go through and like kind of really make sure everything was kosher on it. But
Right.
dude, that was so impressive. Just
Yeah,
seeing her do that.
I think Billy won first night ever in a sport mod. First night ever he ever went out in a sport mod. Which, I mean, Billy rightfully probably was
He's
going
a driver.
to. I mean, he's a
Yeah.
driver. Runs pro stock, stuff like that. He's a good racer. So for Sonny to have a mentor like that is pretty good. I mean, Billy comes from an absolute dominating line of, I mean, maybe not the greatest fans of,
Yeah.
right?
The fan
but
approval may not be there,
right.
but I mean,
But
there's undoubtedly.
But Billy himself is always been good to me.
Yeah.
His family's always been good to me. His kids are amazing. I think Sonny is one of the most respectful people at the track.
Yes.
And to see her jump into a sport mod already and do what she's doing is awesome to see. Super collected, super just, she's into it. Like, her involvement to the car is huge.
Yep.
So, when I kind of felt stuck in traffic, but that's no excuse for a racer. Like you're fast enough, you'll get around them. And so when I think I got like to third at one point, and then 2 cars passed me, I pushed up the track, and then I just see Sunny, and she's already rolling through the corner as I'm like coming down the straightaway. I'm like, God damn, and she was gone. So kudos to her. I ended up running 5th in that heat race. Top 10 cars, which I thought IMCA had to be 12, but I think it only requires 10 to be an IMCA event anyways for points wise.
Right.
Redraw. So I go up there and I redrew a 6, and my brother redrew an 8 right behind me. So, we go back to the trailer and we're kind of discussing like, what do you want to do? He's like, I'm not touching my car. It feels good. My brother ran pretty good in his heat race. And I'm like, well, I'm not touching Nick's car. I don't know what to do to it anyways. Like, I don't know how it's going to respond when I do change something. Like
Right.
my car, I change a bar and I'm like, ooh, that sucks. His car, it may not feel any different. So I'm just going to run with it as it was. I knew the track still had a bunch of moisture from the middle up. Robbie Claiborne come over, he had talked about the track, what can I do? What do you guys see? What do you think, and huge respect to him for trying to give Santa Maria the best service. I mean, that guy loses sleep over what he's doing.
Yes. We're going to get him. So as long as we can get there in time on Saturday, and I'm going to get a podcast with him just to sit down a cool little, at least a good little half hour of, because I talk about him every podcast. Every time we talk about Santa Maria Speedway, I talk about Robbie Claiborne because I mean, he's turned that place around like 180
100%.
degrees from what the beginning of last year with the grand reopening of the track. I mean, it was it was tough to see. Like for as a race fan and somebody that wants to see a track succeed,
Yeah.
I was like, it wouldn't have lasted if it stayed
No, and
how it was in the
it
beginning.
wouldn't have, and that's unfortunately, right? I mean, that's again, it just we all get the same racetrack, but at some point, like, okay, that's
When you're pulling bars out of the car,
yeah.
it's tough.
So, yeah, read you a 6 for the feature, line up, we get, we do a parade lap and stuff, which is awesome. I love that they have a pace truck and,
Yeah,
they got cameras all over the cars behind you. And I love that. I think that's just like such a fun experience for the drivers because it makes you feel like you're getting your money's worth.
yeah.
Um, like, I mean, they do that at Boone. Like, you roll out 30 cars deep, you got cameras running down below or behind you, and you got flaggers running down past you. Like, it's epic. So, to have that same kind of feeling at Santa Maria, the local track, is pretty cool. So, start the feature, kind of rode around for a little bit. I mean, it was pretty hooked up racing.
Mhm.
Not the bottom was amazing. It was smooth. It was nice because you could kind of roll into somebody and then you could use the right rear to stick in the middle of the track. But then you kind of like bottleneck coming off. So you just kind of had to choose wisely. Um, Sport mods, the bad part about them, you get a heavy track. It doesn't matter what your knowledge in a car is. It doesn't matter how good of a race you are. You all race equally.
Yeah.
Fast is fast in sport mod when it's hooked up, and it's cool, but unfortunately the bad part too, because that comes with just overhead driving. You're driving faster than what the driver is capable of. I've 1,000% been there. That's been me. I remember. I'm sure I still do it. Where man, I went in there a little too quick. That was my fault. And I ran decent. I was running okay. I think I got a I got a flat with 7 to go. Me and Brown got together coming off of turn 2.
Yep.
I got a massive run. I mean, I didn't even lift. I just flat footed through turn 1. I'm a hole racer. I love the holes. I got all the races I've ever won at Santa Maria is because I went where they wouldn't. And
Find that grip and let her eat.
my poor car, welding the thing up. But I rolled in around under Brown, and Brown had blew the cushion, and then we just met in the middle. Santa Maria turn 2. It's a merging lane. I
Yeah.
mean, it just and part of you wants to be like, man, I was so far ahead of you, and you still came in there. But then, you know, I want to say, man, I could have turned down. Like we were both there, both good positions, both running good. So he wasn't mad, I'm mad, and he wasn't mad, I'm not mad. So just kind of dealt with that as it was, and I pull in the infield. So I pull in right off turn 4, just so that way when the race is over, I just hook out and turn out of there. So that was yellow came out lap 6. I think my brother's in 5th, and 71 cars running 6th. So Adam, yellow comes out. I think by now Adam's in 4th with the 71 car running 5th. So right there in the top 5. And I am already kind of like, okay, because
So there's a history
for sure,
with that guy for you guys.
correct.
So I mean, it's not. Some people may have already seen this and have already been like, okay, what was that all about? I
Yeah.
mean, because honestly, if you're looking at just that, you're like, what?
Yeah, what warranted all that?
Yeah,
you know?
there's something got to be underlining there. So what
So
what was going through your mind?
So in
for
my
that?
mind, I already kind of know like these two don't do well together. I mean, it just kind of magnets to each other. Just one of those things. And I don't know if anything. I don't know. I say this very loosely. I don't want to say anything was ever intentional, and I say that very loosely because of past experiences.
Right, you have.
I mean, there's videos out there of just absolutely spearing people, and I don't know why someone drives like that because the shit's expensive. And to be that mad in the car, which I've been pretty damn upset, and I'm not saying I'm some saint. I have definitely wrecked people's cars, um, but to just, I mean, flat out just mow someone over is just mind-boggling to me. So running 4th and 5th, they get a green flag to go, or it's caution again, 2 to go, white flag, they get the green. 71 just absolutely just starts pushing my brother down the straightaway. I mean, Didn't give him any room on the start. Already picks up my brother on the left rear on the start, pushes him down the straightaway, and just punts him through the corner. Now, given the circumstances already that have happened prior, same scenario. It's like, dude, if you're that much faster, just go by me. You could have went straight to the bottom. You'd have blew right up over the, whatever. Instead, he had to drive through them. And of course, now I'm watching this. So, and I'm telling Mike, I said, we got to go. This ain't going to be good. They come around. 71 finishes fourth. And my brother ends up finishing ninth, which I don't even think he cared. I don't think he even knew anybody was in the stands after that point, because something like that happens, it's blinders and you have one goal and one focus only, which unfortunately in racing is so heightened on, that type of situation. You're
in an adrenaline pumped state. You're
100%.
Everything's going. All the emotions are going. Like the feelings, just everything is just amplified.
Yeah. So I mean, the writing was on the wall. I kind of already knew what was going to happen, and that's why we took such a big break, because it just wasn't fun anymore. If you're out there to just wreck cars and then you're getting out of the car mad and angry and upset, well, like, why are you there?
Right.
Go to one of those rooms where you beat shit, you know? And just so that's like where I really struggle with the incident that happened. So by the time I drive through the infield, which is full of people, I drive through the infield and I see, as I'm looking, because I know my brother, he's on the gas under the yellow. He's chasing 71. Dumps him down the back straightaway. 71 spins around. They start demo derbying each other on the back of the infield, not the back straightaway. They're in the infield, which, is not the safest place to be doing that, right? And I know that sounds crazy for me to say that doing what I did. So they're wrecking each other, and I try to pull between them. And the 71 just goes around me. He goes into the tech line. I can't see shit. It is so like alkali, dusty, so bad over there. I'm like going through there trying to see because it's so bad. Finally come out, and I see my brother pull around the 71 car, and I pull up, and I know like I'm gonna get shit for this, but people don't understand, like when you're in a car, you're not thinking about pushing the clutch in, the brake, going to neutral. You're not thinking about that stuff. You're just like in the moment. I know what I want to do already, right? So I pull up to him. I'm pulling my helmet off. And I set my helmet up on there. Well, when I do that, I don't even take my car out of neutral. Well, when I realize I do it, I left the clutch and right into the dude's car. So I was never intending to hit him in the door. And that's not to be like saving grace of myself or nothing. Like I take responsibility of hitting that driver in the door the way I did. Not what I had intended. So, I end up, I don't even remember getting out of the car. That's what the bad part is. I get out of the car. I like run across the deck of the car, across the hood, and, I have the altercation with the driver. And, it's, thinking about it now, you're like, man, that was for what? For you just finished like 11th. You got a DNF because you got a flat, and so that incident to me is stupid. I feel bad for it, but I semi don't regret it either, because like you get to a point where you're tired of your car being tore up. You get to a point where it's the same person, which makes that incident so much more worse, because you're as long ago as it was, you're still upset. You're like, man, again, and so that's what makes that frustrating. Because you would think the almost same scenario happened in 21. I don't know if you've ever seen the video. It's very similar.
Mm-hmm.
He wrecks Michael Black down the back straightaway, who was in our car. Wrecks Michael Black down the back straightaway. Farrell comes to the infield because they black flag him, and then my brother's crewing for Mike Black that night. You just see my brother running across the infield. So they have an altercation or whatever, they get split up. But nothing happened. That's the issue. Actually, I don't think Farrell got black flag. I think he got a flat because of the incident. So he goes to the infield, and they have I was at home. I was watching on TV. I'm like, oops, and I think the Claibornes had sent me the video and stuff actually, now that I think about that. But yeah, it was like, oh man, So that's what started it all. And then Speed Weeks was with the same driver. He was the talk of Facebook for a while for the incidents he had up there. And and the bad part is people, I won't say their names, but they have wrote on my post and then deleted. It's like, why don't you go help the guy? It's like, I don't know if I can talk to him. Like, I don't know if I have, you know, the respect to talk to him because of past incidents,
Yeah.
you know?
I mean, it's tough. It's like no, it's so conflicting and so tough. I mean, I've not that I've worn so many hats in doing all this, but I've been around this my whole life.
Yeah.
Like, there's always been incidents just with, certain camps and certain drivers just for some reason, for whatever reason, who
Right.
knows why? I mean, just shit happens with
Yeah.
different guys for whatever reason it
On
is.
all levels. It's not
Yeah,
like you're just some
no,
hillbilly from Bakersfield,
no,
you know?
it's everywhere. It's everywhere in every aspect. I mean, even in drag racing, when there was there was like staging wars between drivers and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Just it happens in everything that's competitive. Like for some reason, somehow, some way, like there's just two groups that are oil and water for whatever
Well,
reason.
in the one thing now, I mean, in like I said, it goes back to the technology. I mean, it's you can't do nothing. Someone sees it. They're
Oh yeah,
they're watching it. And if it wasn't the camera from the flag stand, it was someone with a cell phone watching, and then it just takes one person to share that, and then all of a sudden, I think Daniel's video is like 300,000 views or something.
yeah,
It's only a matter of time before it's in the hand of the sanctioning event we race with. Um, which we handled with them and Santa Maria Speedway. I they did what they have to do, and we understand that. I'm not afraid to admit I got $1,000 fine, and I got a 4-week suspension from Santa Maria and a 2-week suspension from IMCA, which is totally warranted. I mean, I've read the rules. I've argued with Jim Standard, and he's hey Brian, this is the rules, man. This is what you did. Understand, and I accept that. It's frustrating because like I felt like I just kind of came out of retirement. I had
yeah,
so much time off, and and then it was bad because like I had just lost a motor, so it was like frustrating. It's like, damn, dude, all this at once. And so the emotions are definitely high, and that's what all these people on Facebook and all these people saying things like whether they've been in a car or not, I don't know.
right,
And they don't know my situation. They don't know that the past experience. This wasn't the first time. This wasn't the first time that we've had an interaction with this driver. And so they don't understand what it's like to have to fix something again because of one's mistakes. And I know that I'm no saint. Like I said, I've taken out good people. I've wrecked good cars because I didn't know what I was doing, or I was just driving mad over my head, or completely killed the setup the wrong way. And so like I hope that I hope that things get better on both sides. I
right.
I know I said a lot of things on Facebook, but I was just honestly just being a smart ass. And that's what IMCA, we had talked about because it's you take one event, but the problem is you got so much involved. It's not just a race team at Santa Maria. Now you've involved a whole entire sanction, you
Yeah,
know, because that is now spread across the board. And what we did is not the face of Santa Maria. It's not the face of IMCA racing. There's things that we as drivers do not agree with, or just being human. We don't agree with everything that
right.
somebody has said.
Yeah, of course.
There's things that I believe Santa Maria could have done different. I believe that there's things that IMCA could have done different, but they did what was best with the situation. I can argue it all day long because I was the one being punished.
Yeah,
It's like, well, he did it too.
yeah,
I can't say that. I can only speak on behalf of myself and my team. And, it's, I want to race. I want to race. I don't think I can't. So for me, unfortunately, I can't go back to Santa Maria because the way their schedule's set up, I don't get to race till July 23rd at Santa
uh,
Maria. That took away all intentions of the points run I was trying to have there. Um, Same with my brother. My brother can't even run like Bakersfield and stuff until like it's 2 weeks from midnight. So
okay,
they make it to where that Sunday,
right,
if I wanted to race on a Sunday, I have to go to like Iowa to find a track race on Sunday after my suspension.
right.
So, I accept it. I obviously got some work to do on my cars. You know, I don't know. I'm still really bitter about it. I don't know how to say like I'm truly okay with it all because like I'm not. You know.
Yeah, I mean it's but in my eyes, it's because you're a true racer.
Yeah.
You're a true racer. You're a fan of the sport. First and foremost, you're a racer. You're a racing guy.
Yeah.
So a racer's never going to be okay with not being able to do what he wants
Yeah.
to do. So I mean, for whatever circumstance that made it to get to that point, you're going to be frustrated with it. I mean, I would be. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a racer. I'm a racer guy. I'm a racing guy. So if somebody said you can't go play in your sandbox,
Yeah, and that's how we feel. It's like you're grounded.
yeah.
And but like I said, rightfully
But
so.
tracks have to do what they have to do, and sanctions have to do what they got to do.
Yeah.
It's just like
Yeah.
sometimes you're the bug, sometimes you're the
You
windshield,
know,
and it's just
I look back, I kind of look back at how I handled this situation, and I think, you know what, Santa Maria has dumped, I mean, literally millions. I
I don't
mean,
know. Yeah,
I'm going to
it
say
it's
millions.
it's insane.
With the purchase plus the upgrades, I would say it's a lot.
Well, I charge them $1 million a race, so
Yeah, yeah, no, I mean that's perfect. But um,
no.
and I made the comment like, you know what, I still got paid. And that was kind of one of the arguments is they didn't do anything that night about black flagging somebody. They didn't DQ anybody. We all got paid off the back gate, so it's like we left with like no harm, no foul. And then come Monday, it's like the phone calls and emails start coming out. And it's like, well, you guys didn't do anything then. Why does it matter now? But then I think if they don't, how long before someone's ran over? How long before somebody's shot in the pits? Because
I
there's,
mean,
you know,
there's always. I mean, and I don't speak for the tracks. I mean,
yeah,
I just show up and film, and I get to
yeah,
talk. I get to speak and do this. So I mean, it's just in my just Monday morning quarterbacking. It's just like you got to do something. I mean,
yeah,
something's got to be done. I don't know what it is, or if
yeah,
if you did or didn't tell me what it was, that's totally fine. But just from me on an outside looking in, it's like something's got to be done
yeah.
to whatever party. But just like you said, I mean, if nothing is done, then that
Right.
the
It's
next
just
thing
going to
can
evolve.
progress and progress and progress.
Yep.
And Santa Maria is not it's there's a reason why it's not the typical dirt track, and there's a reason
Exactly.
why it's succeeding right now. It's I mean
Yeah.
the family environment that place is, and like the stuff that they're doing there is just
Oh, hands down the
you know
best
it's
fans.
it
I mean,
it's unreal. It's like it's crazy because we're not getting the we're getting casual fans.
right.
We're not getting Speedway was always die
Yeah.
hard racers racing
Yeah.
families, and that was the heart and soul of the Bakersfield
Right.
Speedway was.
The same group of people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's probably why it was a little rougher and a
Yeah.
little, but more competition. That's why you had so many good guys coming out of there because it
Right.
was so, in just in the freaking
Yeah, and you know what, Santa Maria, like I said, they promote their stuff is phenomenal. I mean, their
yeah,
their videography, like using drones, like I said, they're on the camera tracks or walking through the pits with cameras. I mean, they have people like you doing the stuff you do. I mean, I think that really is what transforms a place where a family can go and enjoy a good time. And even the racers, like I said, I have not been there one time where the track management has not came up and how we look. "Hey, everything good? You guys need anything? So they do a really good job with that. I know Weber and his dad, and Pat and Jeff and all those guys over there. They do a good job. So like I said, in the first couple days, I was just bitter, um, But like I said, they at the end of the day, they did what was right. They did what they have to do to protect themselves and protect us as racers. So it doesn't warrant anything that I did. It doesn't allow me to go over there and just act crazy or have
yeah.
an event outage like that. So yeah, so kudos to them. I mean, we'll be back. It's like I said, it's good. The first couple days you're like, man, I wanted to race this weekend, but you know what? Like, you need a break again. An event like that, you
Yeah, I
just
mean,
got to
yeah,
settle,
yeah,
let the dust settle, and just lick your wounds. You can be unhappy. Hopefully we can all just kind of meet in the middle somewhere and just be like, okay, like, can we, you know,
yeah. I mean, it is a breath of fresh air, like coming in. I mean, because I invited you here to talk.
yeah,
I want to talk everything, but I mean,
yeah,
this is kind of one of the hot topic, the hot topic of the week, right? But I mean, it's a breath of fresh air to be that you have a good head on your shoulders, good mindset of you know yeah, an incident happened.
Yep.
There were repercussions. May not 100% agree with the repercussions, but
Yeah.
definitely respect it, and
It,
it's
it
not something you'd be like, never going back to that track again,
right.
kind of thing, you know?
And I did say that in the beginning, I'm like, you know what, I'm not even going back there because you're like, man, I'm friends with you. Why aren't you, but you don't play friends in a situation like this.
Yeah,
You
it
play business and you do what you got to do for your insurance, your track, your people, your fans in the stands, your fans in the infield, your track officials who were, um, and like I said, when making contact with that car, like what could have gone wrong? You
right,
know, so and then I think back about, the incident I had with the driver after the contact. It's like you got a damn good job, a beautiful family. You have all this, like why are you doing that, So that was good, I wish I could say it was the first time I'd done that, but it's not. But it's unfortunate that it's
right.
part of
I
the
mean,
sport.
but it's being a passionate person too.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a passionate person and you get into a passionate state where something like that might happen,
Yeah.
passionate shit's gonna happen. But it doesn't come
Yep.
without
No.
repercussion.
Yeah, no.
But I mean, it doesn't mean it's not right. Doesn't mean it's wrong. Doesn't it's none of that stuff. It's just, you know, passionate people always make, you know,
Passionate decisions.
passionate decisions, and it just,
Yeah.
it happens.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens. But I mean, how many times did it happen in the past with like Scott Pounds and Dick
Yeah, and that's
Shepherd
the
and
thing,
Bradshaw and all that kind of stuff? But kind of the sign of the times.
Yep.
Back then it was almost you knew you were going to go to a dirt track. You're going to see a fist fight down on the
Exactly.
pits. You're going to see
Yep.
you're going to hear about wrenches being thrown, and you're going to see
Cars wrecking each other,
and you're going to
whatever else.
see three dudes fighting one guy, and then next thing you know, those three guys are fighting each other right next to the beer booth.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just sign of the times, sign of everything. I mean,
Yeah, and those guys were I mean, they were grit,
yeah,
like it was grit racing back then.
yeah,
So it's not like that anymore. And so modernized racing has evolved to eliminate that, which is good for, I don't want kids to think it's okay to do that,
right.
So, and especially my own kids, like my son's on Facebook because he loves Marketplace, you know. So, and I'm sitting there thinking like, man, it's only going to be a matter of time before he's scrolling and that's shared, and so
Right.
again, the publicity of it is it's good and bad. I mean, and I hate to say it that way, but it really is. It's good because you did what you did to prove your point, but at the end of the day too, it also shows like no self-control. It shows, you should have
Right.
handled this a different way. Like, and there's an unfortunate amount of people who have reached out to me saying, "What do you need? What can we help with?" But I say that unfortunately because like it shouldn't be like that. That driver has made a name for himself doing what he does, and I don't want this to be the name for me because it's
Right.
not.
Yeah, you don't want to be known as like the enforcer that will
Right.
flip on just a drop of a dime.
Yeah, and I don't want people
Yeah.
to think that I'm just like some snap person because I'm really trying not to be. Like I try to. I mean, you ask anybody in the pits, I've given you something, I've helped you out or something. You know what I mean? So, and I want people to still know that that's me. I'm not out there to try to rip your helmet off and drag you out of your car every weekend. But it's and I don't want people to think I'm like some arrogant racer either. That I'm going to do that every time. Like it took a lot to do it. And like I said, it's unfortunate it happened. I'm gonna, like I said, take what the sanction and what Santa Maria Speedway has given us, and we'll move on from it. I mean, it's we can be smart asses. Well, all you did was give us time to go to the lake. And
Yeah.
I love the lake. Don't get me wrong, but I'm kind of in race mode right now, and kind of feel good in the cars. I feel, unfortunately, blew up and whatever else, but I still feel good. It didn't hinder my mindset and my focus. What I feel right now for racing for 2026. We'll be at Super Nationals this year, so that's kind of like our racecation there. So we go there. We'll meet up with all of our Midwest friends and have a good time there. And so yeah, just like I said, it's water under the bridge now. We'll take it as they are. We're men. We'll take what was given to us and we'll move on.
Excellent,
So,
dude. That's the only way you can look at it.
yeah.
That's the only way you can look at it. So that's awesome. That's
Well, you have to, because if not, IMCA is not gonna let me play. So, yeah, it's a lot of time and effort and money sitting there to not be able to use it. So,
absolutely.
yeah.
So you said the motor blew up. So are you planning on putting a crate motor back in your hot rod then when it comes time here in a couple of weeks? So what's your rebuild status looking like right now?
So fortunately, unfortunately, I now have a little bit of time to kind of figure that out. So technically, I could race in 2 weeks, but I want to get the other motor finished up. So we do have another motor that's already almost ready. So we just
Okay.
got a couple little things. We need to get mine apart to see exactly what come apart. I think it's the same scenario of the motor in Vegas. I think the same scenario of the motor part failure. So I think we'll have a pretty good salvageable, which is why we moved to the open motor. You lose a crate, you pull the carburetor off, you throw the rest away. I mean,
Yeah.
they scatter. I mean it takes out 3-4 cylinders on each one. The crank almost every time, the cranks or the cams literally all sitting in pieces in the.
Is that the weak spot? Is the weak spot the cam on the? It's 602.
You
You guys
know,
built 602, right?
yeah, 602. I'm not really sure. I've ran brand new crates that blew up. I've ran 300 night old crates. I don't really know what the cause is. I know they had some oiling issues with the new. I say new. I think it was like 2015 or 16 when they came out with the
Mhm.
Gen 3 602 or something. They had a lot of issues. They switched pistons, some bearing journal oil holes and stuff like that. So there were some issues there, but you really don't see a whole lot of people losing crates anymore. To lose a crate, they really got to be jacked up. Someone's got timing just cranked into them, you
Yeah.
know. Um, but yeah, the open motor stuff has been better for us for longevity. I think that motor, I don't know, had 50 nights on it or something. So if it was
Speed and a half.
yeah, a part failure out of out of my control, it is what it is. So Rob, who builds our motors, it's been phenomenal. I mean, it's an absolute powerhouse. I love it. So um, yeah, I think we'll be able to get the other one together. I think we'll be back fairly quick. But I do have the crate I could throw in. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to because driving the crate car Saturday night was completely different.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the car is different, but response time, the way the car reacts with throttle, cutting through traffic, even with the crate, is like so different. I mean, they
Mhm.
they both definitely have their pros and cons. Like I miss the crate with how wound up it could get so quick. But then I like just the grunt power of the open motor.
So that's the main difference, right? You got probably 30 more torque, and then
Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, that's above
get
my pay
the
grade.
two-stroke and four-stroke effect kind of thing.
Yeah. So I'm not really sure. I know. I mean, there's definitely big differences in how they react, and whether that's weight, torque, horsepower. At the end of the day, all these motors are all still built to be pretty much the same, but they have their different advantages within those confinements of the rules. So, um, definitely, definitely a fan of the open motor. We go and there's a lot more of them coming out. There's a lot of West Coasters running open. So, and we see that going back to Iowa. You had a pretty big spike of crate motors, and then they had issues with GM, and then now it's open motors. I mean, they're going out there with check boards as you're staging, and they're looking under your hood. Crate motor, open motor.
Right. And IMCA has that rule, right? If you're going to run the crate, you have to have the crate
Yeah.
on the
So
car.
yep. So if you're running a crate, you have to have it's got a identified crate. And I think they were getting away with just like the Chevy. I mean, I don't think they ever really pursued that.
Ah,
You just had to show something.
okay.
Claim, you have to have claim on the side of your car. And then yeah, like I said, I don't know if I don't race enough to know the true advantage of what the ones are going to make a difference, but I know that with what I have, I can tell a big difference locally in my cars versus when like if I go to Santa Maria like on a crate, I'm like, ugh,
Yeah.
because it's
You need some grunt.
normally fast.
Yeah.
Places like Tulsare's really fast. I'd run Tulare every single Friday night if they'd let us. I love that place. Scott Woodhouse
That's
and those guys.
that's what I've been, I've honestly, Ricky even was saying that, but when he was towing the hobby stock up, he's like, man, you know what? I could race this track weekly.
100%.
That could be the home track for. But I mean, it's just that is sprint cars. That is sprint car freaking.
It is their utopia. I mean, that place just runs so well. I mean, and I don't mean like the way that just the confinements of the track and how it's configured. It just if they can figure out the hump on the back straightaway, because our cars literally come off the ground. If they can figure that out, where that transitions a little, because it just always catches you off guard. You know it's coming, but it just gets you every time. So
probably just the car just falls out of you.
You can run on the fence, you can run on the bottom, slide through the middle, straight to the fence, and just hook and go. I mean, it's so fast there.
And for being a paperclip track too, because I mean,
yeah,
you would think, you know, one's got to be dominant, or like you just applied yourself all day long on a paperclip.
Yeah.
Just to keep momentum up and still try to shorten the track up and everything.
Exactly. And you know, you get bottom feeders who run down there thinking it's faster, but it's not. You know, it's so big, you have to get to the top. And you know, I mean, Dylan Wilson, I mean, he ran a good race when he won up there Friday night, and I don't know if he was on the top. I think he ran through the middle, bottom-ish in there somewhere, you know. So like it can be done from both ends of the, you know, spectrum of that, but it's a phenomenal place. I absolutely love going there. My brother's super bummed, you know, to watch me go out there and race his car. You know, I unloaded his car, literally just put a gear in it, and he's like, "Hey, I'm not gonna make it." I'm like, "I'm gonna beat you, dude. You just made me change a gear, and you're not even coming now." Luckily, I did because I had lost a motor.
Yeah.
So literally unloaded my car out of the hauler, which isn't an easy task. It's lift gate. It's all time consuming. You know? So I was able to run his car, and but yeah, I love running there. You know, like I said, it's not home though.
Right.
If you want to race, I think, you know, Scott Pounds had told me a couple years ago. He said, you know, Brian, if you win in Bakersfield, you win anywhere. Like you run with the best of the best here. You guys run in such a fishbowl confinement of racing that when you go to a bigger track, you don't know what to do because you're like, why aren't you rubbing me?
Yeah. What do I do with all the space?
Yeah. So, and that's literally how it feels. I run Adams County Speedway, the half mile in Iowa. I mean, it's an absolute monster. And then you're just so spread apart. And then, you know, you run Salina, Kansas, you go to Boone, you go to Marshalltown, you run Columbus, Nebraska. Rock Springs, Wyoming is huge. I think it's just shy of half mile or something, but it's banked like you're driving like this. It's, you know, it's pretty crazy. But I think being able to go and compete at those places and win where I have is because of what Bakersfield Speedway had offered.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, as we all saw today, that's it. You know, it's gone. So, like we talked about earlier, I feel so fortunate that I got to cut my teeth there in sport mod racing. I got to race with Ethan Dotson, who's now, you know, running all late model series stuff, and he's out there. And there's been a lot of good, fast drivers come to Bakersfield. A lot of guys traveled. You had, you know, Strickler and all those guys all used to show up around Henry stuff, and a lot of Arizona, you know, and look at the drivers that are all now living in the Midwest who were Bakersfield locals, who are killing it out there. You know, so it's really cool to see. It makes me sad to see it, you know, because I'll never get to turn a lap again there. So
it's so weird for me because, like, you know, seeing that I get I get emotional about it.
Yeah.
And then because I was the guy. I was the guy that freaking announced it the last 7 years.
Yeah.
The last 7 years, I spoke the last word on those speakers at the Bakersfield Speedway.
Yeah, big shoes to fill. I mean, yeah, Mike Mosier, you know,
the best.
Yeah.
So I mean, kind of
Steve Hughes and Motor News.
Steve Hughes and Motor. I mean that duo right there. I mean, that was the best announcing duo in motorsports. You know, having Steve Hughes and Mike Mosier. I mean, that is the 1-2 punch. The 1-2 punch.
Yeah, if you were on the West Coast, I mean, you knew Mike Mosier. I mean, when he'd come hobbling up to you to shake your hand, I mean, he would just randomly shake people's hands in the stands. I remember I was sitting in the stands with Michael Black, and we just went to watch the races one night. I didn't even own a car, and I think they were running the NMRA TQ midgets there.
Yep.
And we were sitting there watching the midgets, and I was like, man, that car's for sale, Mike. We should buy it. And Jimmy Dotson, his wife, was sitting right in front of us, the car that was for sale. And I remember I said, hey, can I get like your phone number or something to, you know, to get a hold of him or something? So, and I remember as we were saying that, Mike Mosier was there, you know, yeah, you should buy it, you know, and he just walked away, you know, but it was so funny because like I'd only talked to Mike Mosier 3 or 4 times, you know, and every contact with him was just,
he's solid,
was awesome.
He's amazing.
So
that's something I try to. I mean, I imitate. It's not
Yeah.
never duplicate. I mean,
Yeah.
because he's such an original, like amazing guy. But every time I go downstairs and I come up the stairs, I try to say like hi to a
Yeah.
kid or do something because
That's
you
what
never
he
know.
did.
Like for me, I mean, I'm a nobody. I'm just a guy that talks. But I mean, you can see like the way the kids like kind of look at me when I'm going up and down.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you looking at me like that? And I was like, oh, I'm those I'm
In
somebody
your
to
own
those
way, you're
kids
something to them.
to
Yeah.
those kids.
Yeah.
So I always just try to just like, hey, how you doing, buddy? Or just
Yeah.
something. Just they change like that. They just the smile. I mean, just like the same thing you guys do with the bikes and everything. It's just
Right.
anything and everything that I can do just to make a kid's day.
Right.
Boom,
Well,
I'll
the
win
thing is that kid's gonna remember that forever.
forever.
I mean,
Yeah,
literally forever. It's. I remember being at Salina, Oklahoma one night, Salina High Banks there, and I just remember the racers walking around with their helmets with candy in it, and I was probably, I don't know, 6, 7, maybe a little older than that, but yeah, I remember a big modified night. I think maybe USMTS or somebody was there, and I remember, like I said, them walking around with helmets, handing candy out. I was little. I remember being down on the fence, like me, you
yeah,
know. So people like Mike Mosier and Steve Hughes and everybody that's been at Bakersfield Speedway has had an impact. I mean, even like with me and you, like me and you so many times on the front straightaway or something. I got my first win there, and you were able to do like my first interview at Bakersfield
yeah,
in a mod in a sport mod. I had won there in the midget and stuff, but yeah, just yeah, like I feel fortunate that I got to spend what little time I did there. I feel bad that, I missed those last couple races because now it's gone.
yeah.
So I just hope everybody kind of takes away from it in a positive way and not do the blame game, but
Yeah, no, it's just I mean it's just the nature of the beast. If anything happens, the reaction you're gonna have so many naysayers.
yeah,
There's just it just so many people are just not happy, so they just spew unhappy things
right.
out there. So I mean, unfortunate for them, but you just take that with a grain of salt and just unfortunately in the industry that I decided to try to put myself into, it's like
Yeah,
it's just I'm not trying to be clickbaity or anything like
right.
that. Just trying to put everything I
Just be
can out there. Just
real.
be real. Put it out there. That's what I said when we came in here. First came in, I was like, "We'll talk about whatever. We can talk about whatever, whenever, however. Like
Yeah.
we get into freaking basket weaving, we get into basket weaving. I don't care. But I mean, in the grand scheme of thing, I still want to talk about what
Yeah.
what people want to hear and people want to talk about. And I'm sure in this, and when we post it and we get it up, we're gonna get it up. Try to get it up tonight. People are gonna be like, "That no good
Yeah.
stuff." Yeah, and
And that's
that, and the
fine.
other, and it's fine. It is totally fine. It's just for like I said, this industry is just like clicks are clicks and
Yeah.
interaction is interaction. But everyone's entitled to their opinion.
Yeah.
That's one thing too. Is like we live in America for a reason. I mean,
Exactly.
it's freedom of speech. You can say what you want. You can talk to who you want to, and but the crazy thing is, we all know it.
Yeah.
If somebody was out there, they were doing all their keyboard warring. If they came in and like they sat right there and had a conversation with you, they'd
It'd be completely different, and
completely
that's
different.
that's what's frustrating is all those people who say and do what they do, and I've been that's been me too, but it's like, man, you don't even know me.
Yeah,
You don't know my situation. You don't know the situation that we've had or had to deal with. And so but again, at the end of the day, they're entitled to their opinion. And you can respond and respond and respond, but all you're doing is just feeding their ego, feeding their whatever. So let the naysayers be naysayers, and we'll just, what, at the end of the day, I'm still racing and that guy's hugging his cat. I mean, it is what it is, and that's, I don't know them, they don't know me, and that's their right to be the way they are. So,
yeah.
yeah, they can have at it, but unfortunate news, Kyle Busch, man.
Oh man, I know that's uh, uh, it's sick. It's just sickening. Um, that guy. I talked with Ricky Childress and Ricky. I
Oh,
genuinely am
crushed.
crushed for you because I love you. You're a brother to me. You already came on this thing and we talked about Kyle Busch.
Yeah,
We said you know he was kind of the heel. He was the guy that was okay with being hated and everything on the
100%.
track and like just had that, but away from the track and like away from NASCAR, he was just so liked, so loved. Like he was the complete. Him as a person is completely different than what he
100%.
played. on his
I think he had
role.
an image, and I think you do something a couple times and then you're almost kind of like held to that standard, right?
Yeah,
And I don't want to say like he was intentionally doing that, but you got a war face when you're doing what you're doing, and that was his. And a lot of people don't like that because they take it wrong. He's there for business. He was there, he had a job, and that's what he was doing. So if it didn't go well, he didn't do his job, you know. And so I think that a person like Kyle Busch, who I think was respected by a lot, but he was not respected in a way that people should have respected him because he had a job, and that's how I try to see this.
yeah,
Racing's a job. He's a paid employee at the end of the day, and what he shows when he's not at the track is what people should have focused on. How he is with his wife, his kids, the organizations he helps out, the donations he does. That's who he is.
absolutely.
I watched a video from Bakersfield we talked earlier about Billy had shared, and that's Kyle Busch. He's
Yeah, he was right there. You can check it out. Go to Be Tough. Go to Billy's page, and
Yep.
Billy doing just an interview with himself and Scott Schweitzer, and
Yep.
he was so thankful, because that was the last race that Bakersfield Speedway ever
Yep.
had. So it was raining its ass off on
Yeah.
Thursday or on Wednesday,
Wednesday.
because this was a Thursday race. Raining its ass off on Thursday. It was almost to the point they got rained out the first two races
Yep.
of the swing. So we were race number 3, and we were like, I don't. Scott's like,
Yep.
we're doing it no matter what. I'm not
We're gonna
canceling.
get it
We're
in.
gonna get it in. It's not raining,
Put more tear offs on.
and they had to pull haulers in there. They had to
Yep.
pull haulers in and pull them out. That it was a soup mess in
Mm.
the pits, and but when it came time to Billy to get that interview with Kyle and Scott, he was just so appreciative of,
Yep.
you know, I so thankful that we're able to get this program in. Thanks to Scott Schweitzer,
Yep.
Bakersfield Speedway. Everything was just so like
Real.
real and grateful and not, he was happy to be there. Like
Yeah. It wasn't
genuinely
like, why
happy
are
to
we
be there.
here if it's like this? Why are we doing this?
Yeah,
He was there because he was there.
yeah. It,
So
it, it man, it's just heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking for the family, for his kids, and it's just my heart goes out to them, and there's going to be such an outpouring of support for
yeah.
that family, and if there's any type of anything, I just please, I know it's going to happen, and it's just the world we live in, but like scams and stuff that's going to be
No, yeah,
popping up,
reframe.
just don't support anything that you see out there that's like a GoFundMe. This is a GoFundMe for Kyle. The Bush family's not going to have a GoFundMe.
No.
They're not going to have any type of fundraiser for this. Support the things that they were already supporting.
Yep.
I think that's going to be the number one thing, and probably the best thing you could do for that family is just give them all the space in the world right now.
Yeah, it's kind of let them grieve and do what they got to do to get through this time, and nobody will ever get through it, but
No.
let them come to a common ground where they can pick up themselves and continue on with life. I mean, she's got to take care of the kids and stuff, and Kyle was a pretty big family guy. So, and I think what was really cool, and I can't speak for the last, however many years, but I know like the last 5 years, the content he'd been putting out was awesome.
Yeah.
All the time with the kids, the stuff he's doing with his wife, I think was absolutely awesome. I think that, I don't know how he was before we got to see that. I know when KBM kind of went away, it's like he got to really like become a dad and focus on all that stuff.
Right.
And I say that very loosely. I don't know, but just from the content he put out was awesome to see. So definitely heartbreaking to see that. He's in a whole nother world of level than what we are. But at the end of the day, we're all racers.
Right.
It's
We're all racers. I mean, yeah, and that's a whole different thing that we do. We do dirt track racing. That's asphalt racing.
yeah,
What he did predominantly, but it's just a racer,
yeah,
in a racing family.
and just humanity alone. I mean,
Exactly. It's just heartbreaking, heart wrenching, and just to have, I mean, not like to put them in the same thing, but to have two big like losses in
yeah,
24 hours for our small racing
yeah.
community of Bakersfield. But I mean, now the world with Kyle Busch, it's just been like, what is
Yeah.
going on here? It's
No, Ricky, we're thinking of you, man. We know that today was rough with I know you got a lot of time in Bakersfield Speedway, and you were a huge advocate for putting things together there, and all the little side gigs you did with it and stuff. So, and then yeah, so thinking of you today, buddy. Really sorry to hear all that.
yeah, man. So I hate to end it on that one, dude, but we've been hacking on this thing. We're almost fucking 2 hours here,
Yeah.
man. I really do appreciate you coming down and like, clearing the air and just like letting people know who you are. I mean, you're a genuine good dude. I look you straight
Yeah.
square in the face, and I've known you've been a good guy for a long time. You've been so good with all the families and all the friends and
Yep.
all the people, throughout the years at Bakersfield, and you're continuing to do the same thing at Santa Maria. It's just
And this doesn't stop us,
it happens. I mean, it I don't want to say it is what it is, but I mean, shit happens,
Yep.
and you fix it and you move forward.
Yep.
So
Nope. 100%.
thank you so much for coming on here, man. This thing's gonna get views on views on views, and I appreciate it. And we're just gonna try to keep this movement going at Santa
Oh.
Maria.
I love it. I appreciate you, and this is awesome what you're doing. I think it's good for the sport, the fans, the people. It kind of gives a whole nother perspective to who, you take the guys, I say out of their costumes, you take the guys out of their costumes and you see their real outfit, you get to see, a lot of these guys who run locally have, like you said, they wear so many hats. There's so many, you don't know what these people are doing. Like, and it's cool to me that, someone like yourselves gives an opportunity to allow people to show they're not just a race car driver. So that's pretty cool.
Awesome,
It's fun.
brother. Awesome, man. Well, thank you
Appreciate
so much. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Yep. We'll see you. Thank
Atta
you.
baby.
John Candy Love. Hey. Hey. Yeah. Engine scream, we're taking flight. Yeah. Racing hard under neon lights. From the dirt to the stars, we never quit. John Candy Live. This it. John Candy.